Let's take a look at the NVIDIA trade. I was already long, so I was just trying to swing trade, day trade inside my swing trade when I saw some opportunities. And the high, low, close of day of yesterday and the opening 5 minutes. And of course, the highs and lows, we're looking for those kinds of areas. Let's take a look at first. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart on this. This box represents the first 5 minutes. It broke below, tested, and came back down. And into this range right here was some good opportunities to go long on it. And like any range, typically what I've learned is that there's a swing. It goes up and it goes down about as much on both sides before it goes back up. And that's exactly what it did here, and it created my favorite pattern. I don't think you can see it on the 5-minute chart. But one of my favorite patterns of all time to trade is a 2 try to sell, break a trend line, 2 tries to sell off on support. So it's 2 tries to sell off support. It breaks a trend line and then it consolidates. Let's take a look over here on the 1-minute chart, and you can see that a little bit better. We know it's got support. So it comes down, it creates a trend, and it tries to sell off here, and it breaks that trend line, and then it consolidates. So my best trade on it today was right here when I saw it consolidating. We got up here into this sell-off area here as a target, and then after that I got sidetracked with lunch and I didn't get the rest of this breakout. But I do want to take a look at some of the failures down here and what I could have done differently, because I had 3 attempts down here at the bottom that just basically broke even to stop out, barely stop out to break even on these. Let's take a look at the first attempt I did right here. It tries to, for the first time it breaks out of the trend line. Yeah. And then I didn't have the 2 try to sell. You see, I only had 1 try to sell, comes up, breaks the trend line, and that's early. That's the most risky, right? So we did it again right here as it bounces off of that trend line, because your 2 try to sell can be up higher. It can be 2 tries to sell here, and then it's consolidate up here. So it's a different pattern all the time. That didn't work, so I broke even, and then I got long here. This one actually did work. I saw this, it was bouncing nicely off support, 200 moving average on the 5-minute chart, high volume. So I just jumped in it again. So these 2 little trades didn't work. These 2 did right here. And I think I had one a little bit higher up that did. It worked. It bounced off something right here, and I just scalped it. It bounced off some kind of support, and I just scalped it before it kept going down. I'll scalp it when I'm already long, because I'm already long in this position right now. So I was just looking to add to the long and make some extra profit. As long as it's green, it's okay. All right, so that's the NVIDIA trades. The good, the bad, the ugly, what worked, what didn't work, and I'm pretty happy with it. Okay, now let's take a look at my futures trades that I did yesterday and today as well. You see this range right here that it's going through, and with these green boxes on higher time charts are support. And this green box comes in quite nicely today, because it created an area where I scalped right here for a nice bounce, right? So that we'll talk about that. That's today. Yesterday's trade on it, however, I was looking for patterns, and I was looking for consolidation, trend line breaks, higher highs, and that's what I saw. It came out of this range right here, and what it did was it came up, started trending down back into the range where it started to reverse, and it broke over the trend line, creating a higher high in this area. In this whole area, the highest high was right here. It created a higher high after breaking the trend line. So I marked the highs, the higher lows, I'm sorry. The higher lows are marked after a trend line breaks. So for instance, this trend line breaks right here. As soon as the trend line breaks right here, then we mark that as the low. So over here, when the trend line breaks, then I'll know this is the low. And this was a higher low. So I was looking for, I got in fast, really, is what happened. And I think this first one stopped me out, or did I get this one? No, this actually was a successful trade. This was yesterday. I didn't get stopped out. It was the only trade I made yesterday, and it hit the target. It came up, I actually got out early but it did end up hitting my target. So one of my problems is getting out early and not being patient, and you'll see that today, where I could have made a big, gigantic trade had I just been a hair more patient. So we got in down here on the break. It came down, could have stopped me out, but I had my stop a little lower, and it went right up to target. That was yesterday. Now let's take a look at today. We come in and we start trading, and this is all overnight. And then I come in before the market opens, or as the market's opening. Yeah, before the market opens, right here, I see a good pattern that I like. The trend line break, as you can see right here. This was the news, by the way. This is going to come in handy to understand a great selling opportunity later, and as I show you the first trade I did and then the second trade I did. So this was the news. The CPI was hot, and it came in a little hotter than expected, and it just drops. And then it goes up and rotates and creates a higher low, and it breaks the trend line. As soon as it breaks the trend line, I try to go long on it. And let me see, or did I try? No, I tried to short it. Yeah. Because of the big move down, and a better place to short it would have been up higher, of course, or maybe this try right here off the trend line. But I entered in as it was hitting the moving average. The moving average was coming down. This trend line was coming down. As soon as it went into the trend line and the moving average and kind of went up a little bit, I shorted it. And it just went up too high and stopped me out. First try, I did not, and I basically did okay today because I kept trading, but these are like 4 attempts to short. Here's the first try. First try did not break or close below the trend line or moving average, so it went up and stopped me out. The second time I tried to short it was right here at this pivot. When it started to turn red, I shorted when it came back up. So I got a really good price, and it went down, it came up, and I basically broke even on that trade. I don't mind trades where I'm very tight with my risk and I break even. I'll try that 10 times a day, because when one goes good, and I'll show you the one that did, it's worth every failed effort. Up here again, it must have been in some kind of an area. Yeah, it hit this this box right here, and this big candle down here, and I tried again to short, and I just did not. I got in too early. I didn't wait long enough. In fact, it didn't even come up into the red box when I tried it, so I was way too early. By the time it got into the red box, that's where I should have shorted and used that top of that candle as my stop loss. What a nice move. Oh, did I make this? No, I actually did. So yeah, this is the third try and the fourth try. I see right here. Fourth try was successful, it says. Break even for the day. So the loss that I made earlier and these little losses, I broke even on this trade here. So this was a good trade right here. But the mega trade was when it went right back in for a two tries to buy. Tried to buy up into the sell zone, tried to buy up into the sell zone, and it came down again. I shorted when it took out this green candle. And at the time I was thinking, when it started to come back up on these candles here, boy, what an early exit. See, this is the line I should have did my stop loss on. And you can see where I stopped out for break even. Right where I entered. So this was a zero loss trade, but look at the potential reward I could have had on this monster move. Right? Monster move. But instead I did my trend line break technique again, that I love so much. Right here. All right, I tried once, go long, and it hit the target right here. The target was this pivot right here, where it broke this trend line, came down, broke out. Right? I did a trade and broke even on it. This green candle right here, I thought it was going to keep going. It didn't. I felt funny about it. I broke even on it. I brought my stop loss from down here right to break even, and it would have stopped me out for a lot more. Okay. So then I took another trade right here as it creates a higher a higher low, and an engulfing green candle, right? And look where it's bouncing into a predetermined green box, which we've drawn on higher time charts to look for buying areas, support areas. Came down into that, tested it twice, created a higher low, and I bought right on the next candle, and I went up here to this first pivot, and that's where I got out of it. Okay, that's where I got out of it. And it looks like, you know, I probably could have done better on it. But then again, it came all the way down and continued. It looks like it continued right past my entry point. So if I had not gotten out for profit targets, see this red area? Look where it turns around. This is a predetermined red sell zone that I have from higher time charts, already marked on this lower time chart, right? So here it is in the green zone again, putting in a pintail. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to take any trades right now. I'm done for the day. I need to make my videos and study. Oh, wait a minute. It's not over. Well, it killed that green zone, right? And sometimes green zones can become now the selling area. Once the buyers are taken out, it becomes a sell zone. You see twice it sold down from that area. So now it's back up again. Wow, what a roller coaster ride. So we'll have to, at this point, you got to redraw all of your zones and see from higher time charts, and they change. But today, they worked. So I like what we're learning here. Trendline breaks, consolidation, buying off support, selling off resistance. This is really working. And if I had been a little bit more patient, I really want to nail this home in this video. If I had been patient on this, I know I probably would have taken some off here and maybe even some off here. And it's possible I would have reshorted, or I might have not caught this whole move. In fact, we bought long and here, and there's a time to switch sides. There's a time to take profit. But just to see the potential and to see what it took for me to stay in it and how I failed at that. It looks like an easy fix. And I see this often with myself, where if I would have just been a little more patient, that I could have caught the enormous move. So let that be a lesson to myself there. All right, peace.